Some? What? Well, tell me what you know. What you?
I've heard the name. I don't know anything else other than that.
Just we've seen some of the designs. I did a kind of a business idea for Haymarket with one of my projects in a class last semester, and we just kind of saw some of the upcoming designs for it.
Okay. How about you?
Same thing. I did
What was your business ideas?
Ours was a grocery store. Like
Excellent. You need one of those.
Yeah.
How about you?
Ours was like a salon.
Okay. Nice. So you did this for another business class?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about anybody else? Yeah.
Oh, there's new lofts going down there, correct?
Yes. We
Yeah,
need
tree
some
loft.
housing. Come on, people. So I can sign you all up for Lofts housing. It's really cool. I was there yesterday.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, it's going to open in August 1st of next year. So for next fall, it actually opened, I'm hoping, next week we'll be open to accept applications for 200 beds of student housing down there. So I'll show you kind of where we are. So just a little introduction. Here's my contact information. I have cards there if you want to take it. I will caveat that by saying I couldn't be busier right now, so I'd love to answer all your questions. Just I may not get back to you in a little bit, but I promise I'll get back to you. And if you need something specific, just email me very specifically what I can provide to you, and I'll get it to you eventually. It's just I don't. Our original business plan was this is like a 10-year project, and this thing I'm going to show you was a 4-year project. It's now an 18-month project. So it's just going crazy. So it's all good, but it's just really busy. So I apologize. I'd like to make myself more available, but Will and I are just trying to keep it all together. So, but you can contact me here. I went to school here. I'm a Nebraska grad, older, obviously. Turned 40 this year, and that's a little hard for me to take, but I have a big party this weekend, so we'll be all right. I'll have to play more with a bunch of my friends, so we'll be okay. But I went to architecture school here. I got my master's degree here. Also was in this classroom. I got my MBA, so this is like taking me back a few years. In the meantime, from then to now, I worked as an architect in Omaha for a couple of years, and then I was in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, working Milwaukee, Chicago area, mostly Milwaukee, for about 12 years, running a corporate and retail team. So I've worked with a lot of great clients, really enjoyed that. And then about 18 months ago, Will and Robert, who are WR of the WRK, are college buddies of mine. We were ATOs together, so I knew Will since we were sophomores in college. And they called me back and said, hey, we need some help on this project. So I came back 18 months ago, and this is basically what I've been working on primarily. Probably 80% of my time is on this project or more. And so I kind of took this over from the start. So when I came back, the arena was under construction. Have any of you been over there to see the arena? It's going to be awesome. I mean, I don't think anybody really realizes what's coming to Nebraska, which has not been here. I mean, Devaney was here when I was here. Who's been to a concert at Devaney? That's what I thought. What a guy. Who likes going to Devaney? No one, exactly. Because you drive down there, there's nothing to do before the event. If the Huskers aren't doing so well, it's hard to leave, go grab a beer, talk about it before you go back and have the second half. Or if they're doing great, there's no place to celebrate. So it's like all things are not working there. And so this is such a great opportunity, because how many of you have been to the Omaha Arena for a concert, an event, or something else? And you still can't walk out of there and go have a pre or post function without walking to the mattress company. What's it called? Mattress company? Mattress factory. You have to walk a block or 2 or 3 in the cold. It is Nebraska. So this is like us taking an arena combined with the old market and new stuff and combining them in less than 4 blocks. Now, I don't know if you're excited, but I'm excited for Lincoln for that fact alone, because I think this will do really well. And I'm going to explain kind of why I think it's going to do well. So that's where we were. When I came, the arena was planned, it was under construction, but the private development, we had not really started. We had won the this probably 3-4 years ago, so this is 5 years in the making. But we had basically not a lot of ideas about what we were going to do. So we kind of started from this point. So I'm going to show you kind of where we started, say, 16 months ago to kind of where we are today. So we'll give you kind of a quick run through, and you can stop me anytime. How much time do I have? Hour class?
Yeah, we actually get out at a quarter till,
Quarter till?
but
Okay.
we'll just see.
It won't take that long. So I'm going to stop at different points so you can ask questions. This is our, one of the processes, one of the processes that I used as an architect is really to understand the business or the brand that we're creating. And so we would create vision statements, project drivers, whatever, to understand what you're trying to do. So as an architect, my job was to really understand the business that I'm creating a space for. And so I use that same philosophy when I walked into here. I'm like, I have to really put myself in the future and think, what's Canopy Street really about when you look at the underlying thoughts behind it. So this is our vision statement that we created. We worked with a number of different people, internally, externally. We just kind of started to pull this together and see how it worked. But our main focus on Canopy Street is to create an entertainment, shopping, living, working district. This does not exist in Lincoln right now, and it's just, we just don't have that urban kind of space. We have some pockets of it, but we don't have one that kind of tries to pull it all together. But we want it to be a place where the locals meet and invite guests to experience their city. How many of you have been to Madison, Wisconsin? Where were you told to go?
State Street?
That's right. Tell me, where, if you're in Austin, Texas, where are you told to go? There's a district there. I don't know if any of you have been there, but there's a street there that they describe. How about Denver, Colorado? You ever been to Larimer Street or Lodo? There's a district, right? Every town has one. Every place has one. What's Lincoln's?
O Street?
O Street or the Haymarket, right? Those are kind of the two. If I'm 30 years old, do I go to O Street? No. You're, maybe, but that's a bad night. And I've been there, and we've done that. But that's not where you'd probably tell me to go. That's probably where I'll end up on a good night. But the Haymarket is one that's been there since I've been there. It's largely the same tenants as when I was there. Laszlo's was there when I was there 20 years ago. So this city has like kind of sat there stagnant with a lot of the similar things happening, but it really does not have that kind of unique pop, what people are looking for now. So really, we wanted to create that. So how do you create that? We wanted to create a unique brand. So all of you are business people, right? So when you talk about your whatever you're gonna be in business, you're gonna spend a lot of time thinking about your brand. These are our brand ingredients. We wanted something bold. We wanted something kind of out there a little bit. We wanted it warm and inviting, and we wanted to work all the time, not just spring or fall, which is easy in Lincoln to make anything. We want it to be the it place in Lincoln. Not that there's not room for O Street, and this will definitely support the Haymarket, but when people say, hey, you're from Lincoln, what do you guys do? We want them to say, oh, you gotta go to Canopy Street. At least start there. Then you can go experience this, that, the other thing, whatever. But you should go to Canopy Street. We want to create a sense of pride about Lincoln. It needs to be the perfect marriage. We know that there's an arena there. On arena nights, it needs to work when there's 15,000 people going there and there's a concert. It needs to work. When there's nobody there and it's completely dark, it needs to work. Because that will happen more times than it's full. You know what I mean? I mean, like this afternoon, there's no one going to the arena, no matter if it's up and running or not. So it's like having a JCPenney's where nobody goes there. Well, that's just like having JCPenney, I guess. But anyway, that's a side note. So we created these drivers. So how do you know something's successful? It's kind of like goal setting. Like, what's our tangible result? Can't talk about Lincoln without talking about Canopy Street. People are tweeting about it, Facebook, I mean, there's a conversation, continual dialogue about our project. The tenants are busy in February, on a Monday in February, like today. People want to live and work downtown. There is places to live, but do you know that the vacancy rate downtown living is 5%? That's not even enough for people to move in and out. So there's a very strong need for downtown living in Lincoln. So we want them to live and work downtown. We want ESPN Game Day to come here. You know, we just think if we create the place, that would be cool that they're there. You know, we're just having fun. But any place, we want people to meet here to introduce the out-of-town guests to our project. So this is an entrepreneur class, right? And I think I said this last time, I'm losing track of the presentations, but when I was in this class as a grad student, one of the things that I think a lot of people miss, and I think a lot of people mistakenly go after, is trying to take your product, whatever you create, or your business, and satisfy everybody. You won't satisfy everybody. You need to satisfy your core target person exactly. You need to differentiate your product so exactly to that one bit of people that they are blown away by your product, your offering, or whatever, and they thereby attract other people to it. So I call it rings of influence, right? I don't remember which book, I think it's Malcolm Gladwell wrote something on this, but we put in the center these Roxanne and Paul, young professionals. And we put young professionals there not because I only want to see young professionals there, although I do want to see a high concentration of young professionals there. I also know that if I create a place where young professionals feel like it's their place, that when college students come there, which is probably the largest mobile demographic comes there, I want everybody who's in that demographic to act like a young professional. Because I don't want to have O Street. If you want to go out and have an O Street night, that's why O Street's here. And it's going to be successful too. There's O Street nights and there are non O Street nights. And I think you all know exactly what I'm talking about. So I don't have to educate you. But what I do want is a super professional, well-run project that everyone is having fun. But if it starts to become the 2 o'clock place to hang out, then I'm not hitting my target. So we've been asked many times, don't create another O Street. And my response is, that is the last thing I want to create. I want you to come down there, have a great time, dine out, go to a cool event, sit and watch our cube, hang out pre and post game. I don't care, but if I can run a bus from 1 o'clock down to O Street, I'm going to do that. Because I, the next day, own all this property. And if I have a bad thing happen or somebody damages my project, I'm fixing it up the next day. You guys all hear what I'm saying? So these are my people. And the other part is, I'm 40, I'm close to 40, 39, 7/8. When I come down here, I come to this because it's cool, it's unique, it's downtown, it's hip. So I want to feel like I'm a younger person, right? So I want to act like I'm a young professional. That's the experience I'm looking for. If I want to be Tom, which I hope I look younger than Tom, but probably not, then I will go to some older place without the activity. But this demographic and that Tom spend more money trying to be like Roxanne and Paul than you all do trying to be like Roxanne and Paul. Does that make sense? The other overlying thing is it's all about her. No offense, guys, but I don't really care about you guys. Because I know if she's happy because it's warm and inviting and it's a cool place to hang out, I know we will all come. Right? Right? Guys, like if it's the cool place where there's a group of girls hanging out, drinking martinis, hanging out, having a good time, I guarantee there will be double the amount of guys surrounding that group of girls. Because these girls travel in packs. I'm not making this up. This is just pure demographics, right?
That's true.
When do you go out? How many people go with you? Like 3 or 4, 5, 6. By the end of the night, how many people are with you, girls? Yep, you'll end up with more. How many guys are around that if you were actually to care that there were a group of guys? At least double, right? Exactly. And this isn't rocket science. It's all about her. Not only that, girls spend more. Guys spend money on girls. So therefore, it just kind of all leads down to her. So my goal is to make her feel extremely safe, invited, put concepts that work for her in that target demographic that she loves to be at. Because we will all go, I know it. And it will help hold that kind of quality up to a higher level. Because women act better than guys. You see my point? Does that make sense? As a business person, that is what's so critical. And when we start talking to the different venues that are coming in, we're saying no to some, we're saying yes to some, because we're trying to create that target demographic, that it aligns with that center of the target, knowing that some are outside of it, like some of ours are more urban, maybe a little bit. Some are maybe a little higher class, but some are going to be a little lower class. Some are going to be for families because we still need families to feel invited. But when you look at the whole mix and what we're creating, we're going to have a high security, we're going to have a very comfortable and inviting place, we're going to have a lot of people with smiles there so that everybody feels invited and feels like they're taken care of. How many of you have been to Kansas City Power and Light? To a concert? You've been to the arena? Which concert did you go to?
I went to a Tech 9 concert there.
Nice. I don't know who that is. Rapper, I'm guessing.
Went through a stage. Yeah.
Yeah, went through a stage. Did you go to Power and Light before?
I wasn't old enough, so.
Oh, but you didn't even go out dinner there?
I might have. I don't really know. I was a senior in high school.
Okay. Who else has gone recently? Who'd you go to?
Well, I was supposed to go see Carrie Underwood, but she ended up being sick, so the concert.
I saw her the
was
night
canceled.
before in
Yeah.
Des Moines. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Too bad for you.
We went there at Power Night and then went out after.
Yeah. How about you? You
I
went?
went to their summer concert series. They had like free concerts,
Yes.
like Neon Trees and
Nice.
other people.
Yeah. So I would guess of those people that have been there, how many of you spent over $100 at Power and Light District before or after? How many of you actually know what you spent? Oh wow, you kept track of the receipts. I usually have people like, where did all my money go?
He has to get drunk beforehand.
That's the key. All right, I
Paid
like that.
$9 for a drink.
I wish I was lying when I said that we didn't do that too, but that's a long drive down there, so you have to have a few sodas before you get there. We went to camp last year, so it was awesome. But we spent a lot of time before and after, and I bet we spent as much before as we did in the concert and as much after. And that's really what kind of we're trying to do here, is not capitalize on that, just we're going to generally, but we need to make it as easy and comfortable as possible. So these are some of the visual preferences that we did. Here's Power and Light. Here's Rockefeller Center. All of you have seen Rockefeller Center when it has an ice skating rink on it, right? Because you all watch sappy movies. So that's what it looks like in the summer when it has kind of an outdoor dining piece. So we went and studied a lot of these, studied things we're not going to do. And this presentation is actually, I walked the mayor of Lincoln through this before we ever did any design work. I'm like, does this match what you would like to see here? And his answer was yes, thank goodness, because otherwise I had no backup plan. I was going like, I hope he likes this, so like this better be what he's looking for. But I think, does that make sense why we're doing Canopy Street? What questions do you have? Because that's really the setup. Yeah.
So you're talking about safety, especially for like women.
Yes.
Have you planned a route like for them to walk back to campus if you're talking about college kids?
No, I haven't. That's a great point.
For a lot of, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like walking back from campus, especially if it's like late and dark, because it's kind of creepy going downtown.
Okay.
So,
I haven't thought about that. That's a good suggestion. We do have a tenant that's going to run a shuttle. We're working with him on that. So he may be the place where everyone kind of ends up. But again, my guess is most people will be here for dinner, for drinks, for the pre-event. And then my guess is that most people are going to start to congregate where the beer is going to be a little bit cheaper, or things are going to get a little bit livelier. Because ours is going to probably start dying down around midnight, 1 o'clock. And I'm guessing that other parts of O Street are picking up about that time. And that's fine with us. That gets you closer to campus. blah, blah, blah. So, you know, our tenants are not driven by alcohol sales, and we'll have a minimum on our beer. So this will not be a dollar draw. If you expect to go down here and find a dollar draw, you're gonna find yourself wanting, because it won't be there. So, what other questions you have? Yeah.
Have you guys started looking into any like big events that you want this place to hold, like yearly or annually?
Yeah, we have actually started an events calendar. Some of the things on that events, we want to have a New Year's Eve party. We're going to have because my two bosses were born on March 17th, so that's convenient for them. We'll have St. Patty's Day. The Market to Market relay race, have you heard of that, from Omaha to Lincoln? Those guys are in, they want to do a bunch of runs out of here in the morning or have them in here. So we're looking at all sorts of different options, so yeah. We have the ability to close down Canopy Street in front of the arena 50 times a year, which can meet for the whole weekend. So basically every weekend I could shut down that street and have a street party if I wanted to. We probably won't do that because I don't think I can say I have to do that many, but we'll have a lot of events. So any events that people think of, bring them forward because we'll look at them. So what other questions do you have? So are you all putting together businesses, is that right?
They will, for the class. This class is one of the beginning ones supposedly. Several of them have had other entrepreneur classes, but they are coming up with an idea for a business and doing a pitch on that.
Okay.
And they can do something for this area or downtown Lincoln or not, so.
Is anybody right now thinking about a business that might be here? Or a retail business, restaurant business, anything like that? No? You're all thinking online, virtual businesses? Good idea.
It's cheaper.
I'm a little nervous about that, but anyway, so I think when you look at this, no matter what business you create, I challenge you to create a vision statement. I challenge you to create brand identity statements and how you know when you're successful. And that goes for any business. So I've read a lot of business plans, more than I'd like to admit, and how few make it to the finish line. Most of them struggle with their elevator speech. Like I could tell you about Canopy Street in 30 seconds or less. If you can't tell about your business in 30 seconds or less, you're dead. Because you just can't do it. You just got to consolidate. Your idea is too big. And I just think that is something that most people who start a business try to make it about everything to everybody and blah, blah, blah. And that's where, when I meet with restaurateurs, and they say, oh, I'm going to create this unbelievable menu, I'm like, tell me about your best 4 items. Because they better be the best in Lincoln at least, if not the best in the state, if not trying to be the best in the world. Otherwise, why would I go there? I can get a cheeseburger anywhere, and you're probably not going to be cheaper. So what are you going to be best in the world at? And how do you tell me about that in 30 seconds? And then how do you have the ability to talk about it for up to an hour and a half, like I'm doing? Because then it's compact, but it's got depth. So that's what I challenge all business plans to have. And I've looked at quite a few for here. I've got pushback. Most of the time when I push back on business plans, it's too complex. It's like, this is trying to be too much. Like, do this one thing really well. And I'll tell you an example. We have a group that wants to do a live venue here. I'm like, that is outstanding. How many have been to the Slowdown? Few? How many have been to the Bourbon? So the Slowdown is just about 5,000 square feet of live venue space. And these guys come in and they're like, and then we want to do gourmet hot dogs, and then we want to do this, and I'm like, hold on a second. Like, there is not a place here in Lincoln that does live music unbelievably well. And I also was at, what's it called, Pinewood Bowl last year. And one of the things Lincoln needs to get going on is a live music scene. I'm telling you, you want to talk about what this place is lacking, that is the #1 key for me. Because live entertainment drives so much, and it's going to make or break that arena. So I want you all to go out to at least to 3 or 4 concerts when that opens. Even if you don't like the band, just go. Just buy a cheap ticket and go. Because if we don't pack that place, you're all going to be complaining that there's no good bands. But you know what? It's on you guys to be there. So I love how cities or people or the populace complains, oh, there's nobody coming. Well, you know why they don't come? Because you don't pack the arena. How many of you went to Mumford and Sons at Pinewood Bowl last year? What, 2,500 people there?
It was packed.
It's 20, it wasn't packed, it was 2,500 people. There was like the half of the bowl could have been full. They're gonna sell out arenas, right? The night before, they were in Red Rocks, taping their live Red Rocks CD. The next night, they're in Lincoln, and we have 2,500 people there. I'm telling you, that's gotta scare the people in the arena. So this is critical. I mean, I'm just saying, if you want Lincoln to grow, you want it to be cool, hip, and like Madison, Wisconsin, or Austin, Texas, it's critical that you support that arena and support these things that happen in these places. Because that's going to drive the next group, the next group, the next group. They're going to look at the numbers, like, did they sell it out? If they sell it out, they're going to come. So the Kohl Center in Madison sells out all the time. Their live venues all the time. Austin, Texas has an underground live scene that feeds everything else. So I'm saying, I'm kind of on my soapbox a bit, but I'm just saying, you gotta go. How many of you are gonna still be in school? Who's a senior in here? A lot of you. How many of you are thinking about staying in Lincoln? A few? That scares me. Why are y'all leaving? Where's everybody else going? South. Warm. Hard to argue with that. Why? Where south? I don't know yet. Okay. Who else is leaving? Thinking about leaving. Now the people put their hands down? Where do you want to go?
Minneapolis, Twin Cities area.
Why?
Got a lot going on up there.
It's a great place. It's got a lot of cool stuff happening, right? Yeah, we need to do that in Lincoln if we're going to keep the half of you who put your hands down here. Can't change the weather. But you'll come back because you'll be like, man, I miss snow and Christmas. I miss the seasons. So, anyway, kind of get my point. Y'all want opportunities to live in Lincoln, stay in Lincoln. If you're excited about Lincoln, this is a critical project. The arena is a critical project. All right, off my soapbox, and I'll walk you through what we're designing here. Any other questions about demographics, why this is in play? Yeah.
Completely not goals related, but not the question you're expecting. How'd you come up with Canopy Street?
That was actually done before I came online. It's this right here. This is the old train canopy. So they named it Canopy Street.
Gotcha.
Do you know about how many people we can fit inside the arena?
I think it's 15. I think it's 16,000 expandable to 18. So they're actually not building out part of the bowl, so they could add to it at 16,000, which is pretty nice. That's nice. This was actually called the West Haymarket project, though, when I came on board. I'm like, that's not, who wants to go to Weehaw? Not me. And I'm like, no. But I'll go to Canopy Street. I mean, I can work off of that. So we rebranded it. I'll show you our branding stuff here. But this is so as we overlaid this is our site plan, but I'll talk about this more. What we're really trying to create is this place called the Yard. It's now called the Rail Yard because the yard was taken. In Traction Lofts, which is really just an overlay of our housing area and our entertainment area. So this is what each of these are about. The Traction Lofts, it's kind of a cross between the Tip Top and the 4A. It's a W hotel. Have any of you been to a W hotel? No? That makes sense. You guys aren't their target demographic. I was out at the W Hotel in Westwood in LA this weekend. I just love that brand. If you can ever stay at one, it's like the hippest, coolest brand. It's a Starwood, like a Sheraton, but it's their hip, cool brand, so it makes you feel young, or makes you feel cool, I guess, is why I spend that much on a place I don't know. But the Power and Light at Kansas City and the Rockefeller Square in New York is what we based the rail yard after. And then Canopy Street, we want it to be like the Pikes Place Market or Larimer Street in Denver. So I don't want to say it's like exactly like anything, but I really like this idea of crossing things and saying, what's this intersect? And when you're doing business plans, think about that. Like, is it like Google plus this, or because that'll help you kind of correlate and target your brand. Because nobody understands your businesses unless you explain it in terms of something they've seen, been done, experienced, or been around. Does that make sense? So when you write a business plan, I encourage you to name drop. It's gonna be like this, but different. It's gonna be a combination of this plus this. Because there's where the power is. Nobody starts a business that nobody can ever comprehend, right? Because then you're like, I have no idea what that is. Well, if it's like this, then I get it, right? So I use that a lot. So this, I'm gonna whip through this kind of quick. So our yard is about having fun. It's about creating a unique outdoor space. That's Power and Light. Iron Horse Park, which we don't own, but I was trying to make a correlation here for the mayor and the city that there's a great space behind the train station. This is the train station down there. And they asked, well, what's the train station supposed to be? I'm like, that can be about kids and families and stuff. You already have a little park there. You should have outdoor venues. That's a great, I mean, that space in there is really nice for wedding receptions and different get-togethers. I think it's outstanding. I couldn't recreate that now. So I'm like, just make that about the community. My yard, not about the community art. We should have community art. Well, okay, but I'm gonna have a big party there at night, just so you know. It's not about that target demographic, because those don't mix. I can't be a playground in the morning and then the night be a killer stage show. It's just that's too hard to do. So I kind of stuck my foot in the ground on this one. Like, you can do all that kids stuff, which I think is great down there, but do it next to here, where people feel welcome. Like, they can come over for a beer and burger and whatever with the kids, but that's not what the yard is about. Our lofts are intentionally student-driven in the first phase, but we want to do a lot of loft-style living, cool urban spaces, not a lot of size and bedrooms, but really it's about living in this district and having cool public spaces. We knew that programmatically we really had to drive this, so we have to look at each season and try to figure out what people want. So one of the things that what we really focused on is in the cold and dry, like what do you do in Lincoln when it's cold? Anybody? That's where we were like, what are we gonna do? No one's gonna come here. So we are gonna do an ice skating rink outside, outdoor ice skating rink, put the Christmas tree in the middle and make it a unique experience, because no one's gonna use our plaza in the winter. I'm not gonna get you to come to an outdoor freeze your butt off concert. That's not gonna be fun. So we're gonna use that as an outdoor ice skating rink like Rockefeller Center. So I play all you ladies who have seen those great movies where they're backwards skating and it's all fun and good and whatever. So that's what we're gonna do. I don't understand it, but I get it. All right, I'm gonna escape out of this. So from that, all of that dialogue is that was about a year ago that I presented that. From that, we created this. This is our branding. We worked with a group here locally called Thought District to help us create this branding board. We created the logo. We created Canopy Street. That's a Burlington Northern Railroad font. You would never know that, neither did I. But it's nice because visually kind of brings in the railroad piece, because that was where the old railroad tracks were. And I really like this marker, because as we use it, you should all go to our website, like us on Facebook. It's canopystreet.com, I believe. canopyst.com. It has all this stuff. You'll see how the branding worked in a website. I think focus on that visually, your brands need to work, no matter what you're trying to create. I can't stand businesses that have terrible graphics. I'll be honest with you, I just don't buy it. It's like, you're lazy, whatever part of your company, this is you being lazy because you're not thinking about your brand, you're not putting out something that matches with the impression you want to put on me. Have you all been to really crappy websites? Did you like that experience? Did you buy from that company? My guess is those are all no's, because you're like, oh, this is terrible, I'm moving on visually. And that's because we live in an online world. I have to convince you to actually come to my bricks and mortar. Probably most likely, a lot of you will come through this portal or utilize this portal to interact with my brand. I have nothing to show you right now, right? So this is all I got. So we spent a lot of time thinking about that. All these images if you look at them, there's no pictures of men up there, are there? Why? So you kind of get an idea of why we are where we are. So, I know, it's killing you, isn't it? But do you want me to go back to that picture up there? So this is our project. This is how it fits into the West Haymarket. We're into the Haymarket. Here's the train station. Here's Laszlo's, Sinclair Hilly, the big post office, the arena. So this is where that parking lot was. That was next to the train station. The tavern's right here for those of you that are old enough to drink. It's over there. So this is our project. We started this about 3 months ago. The steel is up on this section of the rail yard. This is our lofts project right here, which is the student housing project, and that is almost, the skin is kind of up. All the inside is being built out right now. There's no brick on it. It looks like a big yellow building right now. It won't be yellow. It's cold. And then the arena is right here. So we intentionally put the student housing, young professional housing right there, because when the arena lets out, it's going to be loud. I mean, it's going to be a lot going on. It also has a view of this courtyard, so it's going to have a lot of visual dynamics to it, and it's cool. I mean, if you go up there, you can see into Memorial Stadium. You can see the whole skyline of the city. It is going to be rock star. So I'll show you some of the images of that part of it. This is our outdoor rail yard public space. It's also tiered seating for our events. We have a stage at the end, which I'll show you, and the cube, which is kind of one of our key elements. So this is what it's going to look like. Originally, we were going to just build this building. We built this building, and now we started on this building, actually, and all that was supposed to be in that 2 to 4 year window, but all that's now under construction. The building to the left is a Hyatt Place hotel, and we went out and intentionally selected that hotel because, one, there's not a Hyatt Place in Lincoln. There's one coming in Omaha, but this will be Omaha Lincoln, that's it. So we wanted a really unique brand, so we didn't want to do the same old, same old. And there's a lot of them being built down there. So it's only 111 rooms. It's kind of meant to be cool and boutique hotel-ish, and it's got a nice brand, and I like it. So I kind of pushed us that way. I couldn't get a W hotel, so I had to settle for that one. And then the top 3 floors are condos and apartments. So those are the highest end condos that are in Lincoln. We're selling for about $275 to $300 per square foot. So these are like, low end is $250,000, high end is pushing $850,000 to $900,000. So that, and we've got 9 out of 17 sold in there, and we have the ability to do apartments. So high end, nice. These are going to be the tallest units, and it has great views as well. So it's supposed to be the cool place. How many of, yeah?
How much are the lofts?
How much are the lofts?
Yeah.
Basically like Park House, or whatever it's called, Block 38 over here. So we're about $650 per bed up from there. So we have a lot of 4 bedrooms, 3, 2, and 1 bedroom. So we have a big mix, which is different. We also have a 2-story units that have a spiral stair in them. There are 2 stacked units. It's a 4-bedroom. It's 2 down, 2 up with this out. And we were sold on that. They have them in Creighton. I don't know if any of you have been through Creighton's housing, but they have a 2-story unit in Creighton. And on the top floor, the girls have a beer pong table. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna work. So you gotta see it. I should show you. I wish I would have downloaded some pictures. But they are cool. They're super cool. So it's very similar to kind of the higher end of the market, but I'll tell you, as Nebraska students, you have no idea how cheaply you live. When I did the study of what students are paying across the board, I was blown away. This is probably 30% cheaper than most other Big Ten schools. If you want to go someplace warm to school, the same unit that we designed is close to $1,000 a bed at Arizona State. So consider yourselves lucky getting in on some cool stuff. So these are just images. I'm just going to fly around the project. This is the Lofts project to the bottom here. Just flying around. This is Q Street. So as you come down Q Street, This will be what it looks like. There's the park next to the train station. So this is going to all be new buildings. And we intentionally have it kind of follow, it's sort of modern, but it has a lot of historic brick and metal. We want it to blend in a little bit. This is coming down Canopy Street, so they took down the canopy that had the train station now, and then we're going to put it back. And the city is doing that. So this street will be closed off pre and post event. So if you're going to a Nebraska basketball game, this will be like a walking street. So this will be kind of the way to take. This is our walking up to the arena. This is the plaza space. This is our street if you kind of wrap around the project. On 7th Street, which is kind of facing the Laszlo side, you can see the train station in the far end there. We're going to do a public market, so we're bringing in smaller vendors, local vendors to do food and different kinds of things. This is a little cut through that we've created, so this will be one of the key access points for concerts and events where we'll charge admission or have security at the door, so people ask about security. We'll have security, we'll have a dress code, it'll be light, power, and light. Also, the nice thing is, if any of you have read in the paper, we actually went through the state and had some new legislation passed to create what's called an entertainment district, which will allow us, when we open up the street or on a regular day outside here in this plaza space, you can go from one bar to another with a plastic cup, and so you can walk around with your drink. And we felt that was important because right now you can have a drink outside, but you have to like sit in these little corrals. Like that doesn't help us. So we're like, we need like a food court with drinks. So this outdoor space is meant to have all our tenants kind of allowing you to go from one tenant to another with your beer. Please don't cross the street unless I shut the street down. That's my one hope for you, because then I'll be in trouble and it'll be ugly. But when we have events, you can just walk the street. This fence that I have out here is actually a removable fence, so I'll take it down so you'll know you can go beyond the fence. Just act like cattle. When the fence is up, stay inside. When it's down, walk around. I don't care. So maybe that's a good, we will have to do a public service. I know we're going to struggle with that, but this is our hotel project, condos. And these are just different views. When I get to the cool stuff. These are the views of downtown, but they're better than that. Actually, pretty happy with how that turned out. This is kind of the interior courtyard between the buildings. So these buildings are like really tight to each other. Please don't jump from one to the other, because that will probably end badly for both of us. But these are our two projects. The metals don't match here, but they do in real life. This is the Lofts project. So in these corners are flats, but in this corner, these two units are connected by an interior spiral stair. It's unbelievable. It's going to be so cool. So at least come visit. This is our Lofts project looking to the arena. This is the view from the Lofts project down into our yard space. I'll talk about the yard. This is the rail yard facing the historic Haymarket. We use a lot of brick. We're using a lot of things that match up with that. And that's intentional. As you kind of wrap around, this is their view from the arena. So remember when I said one of our brand identities is to make this appropriately scaled but have a wow factor to it? So we're spending about $750,000 on this piece right here. This is a huge digital art board. It's a huge digital display LED. It wraps the corner, and we call it the cube. The idea of the cube is that, one, yes, we can show Nebraska football. So yes, that is definitely going to happen. We can show Nebraska basketball. Husker Vision is going to tap into here, so pre-Nebraska basketball, they'll be doing the pregame in front of here, so you'll get the whole experience before and after you take part of that. We can also show like anything we want to on cable television. But the real vision behind this, is to create the atmosphere. So on an afternoon like this, or if we have an event that's there, we can create whatever we want to on the video board. We want to create interactive displays. I also know that, like you, I spend way too much time walking around like this, but if I can do this and I can do it up there, or I can be interacting with those two pieces, it's going to be pretty cool. So we know that we had to produce public art, in this space. This is our digital canvas. So we're going to go out and get artists to do graphic displays. I wish I could show you, but there was this art installation that they put a cube in the center of a lake and then started to project on it, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And so we saw that, like, that combined with the Apple Store that's in New York that sits in that glass, we wanted to create an exhibit. So this is our offering to you all, that we're going to have public art. And the way this image shows probably best as I kind of conceptualized it, as we are doing the outdoor skating rink, I want to have like snow falling on the screen. So it like continues to set this stage at night. It's glowing, it's got different artwork on it, but it's setting a mood, and it's like nothing you've ever seen before. So that is where we're spending a lot of our time and money to create something that you go to somebody, go to Canopy Street, you've got to see the Cube. There's this cool art installation, or we're going to go watch the game on the Cube, or it's movie night at the Cube, or it's the ball drop showing on the Cube at our Christmas Eve party. It's going to help set the tone for whatever we're going to do. So that is our wow factor. It's an expensive wow factor. So I'm amazed at how much those cost when the university's like, yeah, we just put new screens in the stadium. Like, no big deal until I tried to buy one myself. Like, holy crap, these are expensive. But this is the same group that's doing the one in the new arena.
Where's the funding coming from mostly?
The funding is a combination of private dollars, us, and the city did a TIF district overlay here. So the TIF allows us to use property taxes for the next 15 years and use the money from that to help create this project. So this is one of the many items that we use for TIF.
You guys have a pitch to a lot of investors, I'm assuming, as well, or getting retailers in there probably help pay for something?
Well, the retailers are paying rent, and that's helps offset the initial cost of it, all of this. But if TIF weren't available from a city, we would not be able to do that. We also probably wouldn't be able to build this complex of a project. It would probably be more like a one-story building, pretty simple. Plug in your typical retailers and move on. But the city is really a partner in this, and this is how we can create, something that's going to last rather than something that's like a strip mall. So I'm going to walk you around. These are the views of the Cube with just some green thing on it. But this kind of gives you the view of that plaza. So it's appropriately scaled that on a day like today when not many people are going to be there, it feels good. But then it can hold up to 800 people in that just area. And as well as then we can open up the street, which then we can hold 5,000 to 6,000 people. These are views from the second floor. So there's kind of this outdoor balcony area. We actually, I don't know if you can see it, but this has the train rail on top, and then we have a drink bar rail there, so you can put your drinks there. You can sit and watch whatever's going on. So I think that'll be cool. This is a view from the third floor outdoor deck. This is the third floor outdoor deck, which, how many of you been to the Blatt outside of TD Ameritrade? You guys have? Pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do this. So outdoor space, you can see it up there. I guarantee you all will spend a lot of time up there. So we're working with a tenant that wants to do a really cool kind of martini bar type of deal dance club up there. Like, bingo, we'll do that. That'll work. So these are our views, and that's our project. So that's what's being built. Yeah.
Do you know of any businesses or restaurants that for sure want to move into these buildings?
Yep, we have the lease is signed. We basically worked on leasing this building first. So we have Hero 88 out of Omaha. Did any of you been to Hero? High-end sushi, Japanese. They have a good cross-section of menu, but outstanding. Then we have Mellow Mushroom, which is a high-end pizza joint, pizza place, kind of like Pitch in Omaha. But this was all started in the South. If you go to any SEC town, have you been? You're nodding like, yeah, that's good, right? Yeah, that's good. So it's a nice pizza place. Really cool stuff. And then we have, on the back side, we have Jimmy John's because we have a lot of students living there. So we need to, I need a sandwich place. We work right over here, and I'm like, I have to walk all the way over to this part of town just to get a sandwich. So Jimmy John's, their downtown franchisee is doing one in there. And then we just have about 3,000 square feet left to lease in the big building. And then this small building right here on the second floor, we're almost done with a lease to do a Buffalo Wings and Rings, which is out of Omaha. There's one in Omaha. It's like BW3s, but a little better with a little bit more family stuff. And then we have a lot of public market stuff going on. We have a live venue that we're working with. We're working with another bar concept that brings in vintage video games and does kind of a really cool vibe, kind of old school stuff. We have a bar, restaurant client down there that we're working with for about 2,000 square feet. Have you been to Bread and Cup? You guys been to Bread and Cup? No? God, you guys. Bread and Cup down in the, okay, you gotta go. So Kevin Shin from Bread and Cup is doing a really nice restaurant. We're working with him, and his restaurant is actually going to be in the cube as well as under the cube. So it will have a really nice restaurant bar and kind of a cool hip foodie vibe. So local, bringing the foodie vibe to Lincoln, which I can't, you guys got to go to Bread and Cup. If you remember nothing, go to Kevin's restaurant, Bread and Cup, for Valentine's Day. So those are kind of the tenants. Then the first floor and the third floor, we're working with a group that's bringing in a Chicago-style bar and restaurant concept on the first floor, and then more of a nightclub event-driven thing on the rooftop. So we're pretty much full with people that we're talking to.
Are you building another parking garage down there as well, or?
The city is building, you can see it right back here. This building, that parking garage will be open August 1st when our project opens. And then they actually are going to build 2 more. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of parking.
Timeline-wise, where does this, like, comparatively to the arena, will this be done when the arena opens?
Yeah,
Before or after?
The Lofts building, I mean, we'll be open for students to move in August 1st, so fall semester. That building will be open. The rail yard building out here, we're hoping to have half our tenants moved in for the first Husker football game August 31st. The first arena event is September 13th. So these 2 projects will be largely done. How much I have leased, we'll see. This project will be open in February. So for state basketball tournaments in 2014, the hotel will be open.
Another random question, who's doing all the construction on the downtown buildings?
Kiewit. Yeah.
Are they gonna be able to sell booze in the new arena?
No.
No.
Not for university events. For concerts, yes,
Okay.
but not university.
Not
The
that.
university is said no.
Okay.
So we'll see if that changes. We'll see. So, yeah.
Is the farmer's market still gonna be down there?
Yep, it'll still be down there. We've talked with them. I think they've got one more season before this is open. So once this opens, the following year, we'll probably talk about how we can expand them. The whole reason behind the public market is because of the success of the farmer's market is to give them a place to be open 365 days a year. And then we'd like them to be a part of wrapping around our rail yard project. So we've been talking with them. It's just, we're gonna miss their next year. So it's really, once we get it open, we'll have a year to kind of work with them. So, what else?
What's going to the left of the hotel? Because I think there's quite a bit of space over there.
Yeah, there is. I'll show you the master plan. Probably, I told you what our target demographic is, and people have said, well, great, you built all this stuff and there's not one place for a young professional to live, and that is true. So this part right here, this is the block, this is O Street Overpass. This block right here is where all the staging is happening to build all this stuff. I mean, there's no roads down here. So it's like, it's a mess right now actually, because it's just muddy. But that will probably be similar in scale to the Lofts project, but it'll probably, my feeling is it's gonna be a couple floors of office and then probably 3 or 4 floors of true apartment living, like urban young professional living. So I'm a young professional. I don't necessarily want to be right here because I got to work tomorrow, so, but I want to be really close to it, but just like a block away is good. It's like Wrigleyville. You don't want to live right next to Wrigley, but you want to be able to walk there. So that's so I bet that block will be mostly young professional urban housing.
Is anything planned for that yet, since, they're doing all the construction for your project, so?
Well, again, we were supposed to have 10 years to build this out. Like this is phase 1 and 2, or years 2 and 4, and it's all in 18 months. So no, but we're going to start looking at that. This parcel right here, though, this was in the paper. This corner right here, they're building an office building, and then we've proposed to a potential office tenant that would bring between 400 and 800 new jobs to Lincoln. The technology company, which would be awesome. So the city's pursuing them, and we're just kind of helping. Like, yeah, you can go there, sure. Be happy to have 800 people down in this area. I don't think there's, I would guess in all the Haymarket, there are not even 400 people living there, period. So anything will be good. What else?
How about for the entrepreneurial spirit and the locals? I know you said that around in the yard area, are there smaller spaces that can be rented rather than everything larger and expensive? And what's the approximate square footage cost?
Well, to rent our first floor retail space is between $25 and $30 a square foot. So in the 2 projects that we have, the Lofts Hotel, that's generally all first floor retail, like street retail, and that's going to be 25 to 30. We can do smaller spaces, but that's generally what those are. The rail yard, same thing. First floor is about 25 to 30. Upper floors are about $15. We have 1 office tenant in there. But our small spaces, like for a retailer, we're really pushing into the public market, where we have probably four kind of small tenants, and then a few kiosks that we can rent. And that's where all the ice skate rentals will be.
How about, how does that compare then to like the retail space that's under the Larson building?
It's the same. I mean, that's probably
about the same.
27, mid-27, something like that. We own Noodles, so we own that building that has Noodles and Red Mango, and we just put in Wabi Fish Taco, and they're about the same, maybe a buck less, because they're existing buildings or existing space. We own Five Guys, we own Qdoba, so we helped put P Street together. I mean, that was nothing when I was in school, it was junk. And WRK intentionally bought buildings as they became available on P Street, kind of seeing the vision that this doesn't need to become another O Street. It should become the fast casual place to be for food and dining and stuff. And wow, I mean, look at how that took off.
Are you guys are you guys the same building that now has Panda and Firehouse and stuff?
We were a partner in that building, but we got bought out.
The whole development happened really quick. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like
Everybody thinks things happen quickly, but this project is 5 years before you ever put a shovel in the ground. And that's what development is about. So it's fun. Yeah, we've had a lot of people say, wow, that happened.
Well, because I literally drove by and like 1 week I went like at work, we went downtown and had like Raising Cane's, and then came back the next week and there was a Firehouse and a Panda.
Yeah. The TI is happening fast, yeah.
So we're just like, oh, okay, there's things there.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
What about the other side of the overpass? Are you guys involved in that too? I saw there's a crane up there now.
Yeah, they're building another parking structure because when this building came, they lost 200 surface parking lot. So the Haymarket itself doesn't have enough parking. So, and they're also planning that events are going to drive 15,000 people down here. So they're trying to pick off at least half of those people in the area.
Yeah. Is there anything going on west of Arena Drive?
No,
Proposed drive? Not yet.
That is all 2 things. One, it's either railroad track or it's in the floodplain. What is happening is north of the Pinnacle Bank Arena, they're building surface parking there and tearing down a bunch of stuff around the ballpark. So that will be an outdoor venue that they hope to have concerts there and parking for arena events. And that's where the Breslow Ice Center is going to go. So we're gonna try to do a new indoor ice facility, which would be great.
Are they gonna move the stars there then?
I don't know what the plan is for, I don't think so. I think there's just not enough ice time, and the Breslow family, I don't know what the story, gave $10 million or something. I don't know, the exact, I'm cool on that one. They gave a lot of money, more than anybody in here has, I'm guessing. So, they get their name on it.
Fair enough.
So, what else do you guys want to know? What would help you in this class? Yeah.
I guess this is an awesome project, but I'm just wondering why I hadn't heard of Canopy Street before I came in here. Like, people should be talking about this like a lot, I feel like.
Read the newspaper and watch the news.
That's not fair. That's a fair question. And I think a lot of it has to do with two things. One, like, you're my end consumer, right? But I can't let you on the site yet, right? I have nothing to offer you except a place to live in August, right? So part of it is intentional. Part of it is, yeah, we're kind of letting it leak, but part of it is if everybody in here knew about what was going on here, I already have, and not me, but Brooke, who's running our residential, she has over 200 people on the waiting list for the lofts. I don't even have a lease ready. I mean, I'm not ready for you to all apply. So what you're gonna see over the summer is a severe ramping up of your knowledge. And a lot of you are gonna leave in the summer, but when you come back, I'm hoping that you really know about Canopy Street. I hope your first thought is, I can't wait for the first Husker game, because I want to go hang out in this new place and have a great time and go out to dinner at Hero and all those things. But Will and I are going around spending our time talking to people like you and all other people to do that very thing. Social media only gets you so far.
Yeah.
You know, so go to Canopy ST, you can like us on Facebook, we've got Twitter, we got it all. It's just part of it is the timing of when you're going to push. And so where we have been pushing is with a lot of restaurants and bars and those kinds of people. So if you ask them who owns those places, they probably have heard from us, seeing what they can do.
So before, the only thing I do is we're going to be able to have an open container downtown. It's like the only, or by the arena, it's like the only piece of information that was relevant.
Hey, well, that tells us we better do a little marketing push on campus. So,
It's good that you come to our class so that you find out these things.
Yeah.